Welcome, welcome, and welcome again to the F3 podcast, where we discuss all things that pertain to faith, family, and finances. And remember, no subject is off limits. We are your hosts today. I am Dr. Lionel M. Blair Sr., and I'm sitting next to the divine, the glorious, the beautiful, the wonderful, sainted mother herself, Saint Jasmine the First, my beautiful wife, Dr. Jasmine Blair. Listen, we got a good one for you today, as always.
Welcome, everybody, to the F3 podcast. We're so excited that you can be here with us. This is your first time with us. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we premiere a new episode. And be sure to take us with you on the go. You can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and wherever your favorite podcasts are streamed. And be sure to check out the links in the description box in the show notes. You can find access to some of our other books and things that we have to offer. Listen, we got a great episode today. This is definitely one good topic that needs to be talked about in the body, all right? Will God fix my spouse? And some of our marriage episodes have been some of our most watched episodes. And sometimes it can be a lot of work depending upon the season. Sometimes we get to a place where we wonder, Lord, are you going to work a miracle and fix them? And how does this go? Sometimes we don't know how to navigate these seasons. And it's definitely a good discussion to have to balance dynamics and situations like this and to find out what's required on your behalf, right? Because it takes two to tango. It's not just them. And as we go through this episode, we're going to talk about this. Because sometimes just because you're not the one that committed the felony doesn't mean you're not the one with multiple misdemeanors, all right? So we're going to get into this topic. So I'm going to kick this over to you to kind of get us started. Why do you think people get in this mindset, well, God, if God just fixed them, it'll be fine?
Well, because they're only looking at it from one side, and that's their own.
Right.
And I'm not saying that, what you feel is not justified. But a lot of times when it comes to a marriage, both got to contribute their parts.
That's good.
You understand? And a lot of times I've discovered when it comes to marriages, a lot of times our spouses will react. A lot of times our spouses' actions are really reactions. And we don't know or realize what we're actually putting out there, projecting towards them that will cause them to react in a certain way. So I think that a lot of times, a lot of spouses, before you even start focusing on your spouse, you need to focus on you. Yeah, you need to focus on you first. Okay. There's a saying that says the change I want to see must first begin in me. You want to see something change in your spouse, you got to change first. You can't. It ain't your job to fix them. It's your job to fix you. Okay, and then through you fixing you and then fixing them, and then y'all come together. Okay, and then y'all come together, and then you work on the marriage.
Fast. Wait a minute, we just started. Hold on.
but it's the truth though.
Yeah.
Most marriages end because somebody refused to look at them.
Ooh, that's good. That's really good.
Because somebody refused to look at them. Okay, and see, if there's a problem in the marriage, both parties contribute to it. No matter how much you contribute to it, you contributed to it.
And I say all the time, even if the 1% was your fault, own your 1%. If it was 0.5%, own your 0.5%.
It's coffee good.
And a lot of times you have somebody owning their 99, but it ends because somebody don't want to own their 1%.
Right.
So the problem consists, and it's miserable because somebody don't want to own their 1%.
Right. So you have a part to play in the dysfunction of the marriage. Okay. You have a part to play in that. So so while you want God to fix them, God trying to fix you. Because one thing about marriage, baby, marriage is a mirror.
Mm. Yeah, and that's what I was going to get into next.
Uh-huh.
A lot of times your spouse's actions, not all the time, because now some people just came in with their own issues. But I find usually when we get to this point of wanting God to just fix them, especially in the beginning, you'll find a lot of times their actions are a reflection of you. You probably do the same thing and it just looks different. It's portrayed different. And you're pointing the finger, but it's like if you really write down the heart or the root of whatever it is they're doing, you do the same thing or you've done it in a previous season in the marriage.
Come on.
One thing I always tell people, always show your spouse grace because you never know when that thing gonna flip and now you gonna be the one in the hot seat and you gonna be the one being Tommy the Terrible or messy Mary. You're going to be the one where your spouse is saying, okay, well, God, will you fix them? So always show grace because you never know when it's going to be your turn, when you're going to be the one acting up and doing too much, and you're going to need the prayer and the patience, the love and the grace and the understanding. It is a journey to literally get rid of who you were and all your dysfunction, for them to get rid of who they were and all their dysfunction, and for y'all to come together as one flesh as you grow closer to God. But a lot of times things are a reflection of either what's in you or what's not dealt with in you. And that's the part that people don't want to hear, especially when they feel that they've been wrong. You know, a lot of us, we like to get on our soapbox and we like to become a cause for justice. They did this to me. They did that to me. They said this to me. They hurt my feelings. And I want them to pay. This is not right. And all that may very well be true. But it's possible many times that your reactions or your wanting them fixed so bad, God might be allowing them, not causing, but allowing them to get on your nerves long enough for you to peer within yourself and to realize what you already had unhealed before you came into the marriage or what you hadn't healed throughout the process and to deal with that first. And sometimes you find when you work on yourself that God just seemed to just fix them. Why? Because God needed you to look inside yourself to see what was there. And see, that's the part that a lot of people don't like to deal with. You know, we've talked to many couples over the years, some older, some younger, some that's just been married, some that's been married longer than we've been alive. And one thing that we find with a lot of people is you have that one person, sometimes it's both, but in this case, where you just want God to fix them, you have that one person that refuses to look within themselves and to consider their own actions.
Right.
Well, I just feel like they did this, they did this. Okay, what about you? And see, that's where it takes humility. Because even in their laundry list of wrongs, there's still something you did wrong. You know you done left that sock on the floor. You know you didn't put them drawers in that basket. You know you forgot to take that meat out the freezer. You know something that you didn't do. Maybe it was something that they wanted, a need they communicated, and you overlooked it, and your right to be right. And so a lot of times this becomes a vacuum of self-preservation to where you point the finger at them constantly and continually to because you're afraid to look at your own self.
Right. You know, and again, that goes back to the the original saying of how marriage is a mirror. You got to be willing to look at you. If you're not willing to look at you first, before you pick apart their actions, pick apart yours first. Okay? Pick apart yours first. And then address the subject that's at hand. This is important. This is important because most people, you know, if they know that you're wrong in something and you come at them about what they did wrong, be like, okay, but what about what you did? You don't never acknowledge what you've done.
Yeah.
You don't acknowledge you. I don't care if it was the tone of your voice or you threw a paper across the room.
You hollered at me.
You know.
You slammed that down.
You cussed at me or whatever the case may be. Whatever. Okay. You don't acknowledge your wrong in nothing. And you point out what's going on with them. Of course, they're going to become defensive. Of course. You know, it's already hard for the average human being to admit that they're wrong anyway.
Anybody.
Anybody. Nobody wants to face the fact that they're wrong or that they hurt someone that they love. You understand what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to marriage. You know, nobody wants to, you know, face the fact they hurt their spouse. But if their spouse is just coming, just spewing at them all the time, you did this, you did this, you did that. You understand what I'm saying? Them the new tongues.
And I think that's a good thing to talk about, right? Because most people, just human beings in general, we're not even talking about marriage, but most people do not know how to have a conversation when there's conflict. Most people don't know how to have a conversation when there's conflict. Most people do not know how to exercise active listening. We listen to respond. We listen to get our point across. We listen to outdo the other person. And we don't actually listen to comprehend and understand and give a response based on what's actually being said. And I mean, most of the time when you're mad or you're hot-headed, you get to a point where you are not competent. You know, I was reading a book one time and they were talking about, you know, anger management and stuff like that. The book was written by a psychologist and they were talking about, you know, this process that they call amygdala hijack. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of quick education, right? I'm not a psychologist. I read this in a book. Go look it up. But they were talking about when you get to what they call amygdala hijack. Amygdala is a part of your brain. So when you get overwhelmed, you're angry, you're sad, you're frustrated, you know, conversation is back and forth. Once you reach this place, your reasoning oftentimes is just like off, right? You're in fight or flight, you're in survival mode, and that's how you get to that self-preservationist mode. There comes a point where your spouse can't even reason with you, or you can't even reason with your spouse because they're all the way up here. And for some of y'all that are pinpoint penny and you want to get your point across, that's the point to stop the conversation, right? You got to let them come down and cool off. You got to come down and cool off. Everybody has to be level-headed where they're still in touch with their reasoning and the logic part of their mind. But when you're hot-headed and you're angry, and you're up there, at that point, it unfortunately becomes a pissing match and everybody's beating each other up verbally, emotionally, and you're causing damage that you're going to have to end up undoing later. It's very, very hard. Trust me, it's a lot easier to maintain where you are than to cause a bunch of damage than to have to go back and undo it later.
That's true.
So some of you, pinpoint Penny, pinpoint Peter, you're going to have to learn your spouse's cues. Okay, you know what? You're here now. You're in the middle of hijack. You're not even hearing what I'm saying at this point. Let's press pause. And I know because you want to get your point across. You just want to get that last sentence across. But then that's also where you have to use wisdom. Let's let this breathe. Let's come back and talk about this later when we're cool, we level-headed, and we can both start from ground zero to where we can actually make some progress. You know, it's important to remember, it's never you against your spouse, but it's always a us against the problem kind of thought process. And when you get to the point where you want God to fix them, it's because you've already left the foundation of us against the problem. Now it's you against your spouse, and you want God to fix them and not for God to fix y'all.
Right. That's good. That's good. It's a us against the problem.
Absolutely.
You know, and if you view it like that, then you will see your marriage worth preserving. I want to read something. There's a scripture here. 1 Peter 3. All right, it says, likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, that they may be without the word, be won by the conversation of the wives, while they behold your chaste conduct coupled with fear.
That's good.
So a lot of times y'all want God to fix them, and God is saying, this is how you supposed to act. Okay. This scripture just confirmed everything that we conversed about. Because it's saying if you got a spouse, and I know some of our wives is pertaining to husbands, but, you know, it can be the other way around. You know, Peter was just addressing an issue at hand. But if you have a spouse that do not obey the word, you have a spouse that is not in proper alignment, guess what? You got to change your conduct.
That's true.
You got to change your conduct. And see, first of all, see, I always go back to the foundation of stuff. That's why you got to be careful who you marry.
That's true.
Because y'all married folks because y'all just all in love, and y'all married folks because you're tired of being lonely. You married folks, okay, because
you want to be legal.
Because you want some sex. Okay, you married folk because you see other folk married and you want to be like other folk, and you want to go on double dates with everybody else
because it's cute, right?
Yeah.
And then you don't think about this part.
You get married for all the wrong reasons. You don't get married for destiny. You don't get married for kingdom purposes. You know, and which really is the reason to get married. You know,
that's a whole nother episode.
So then years down the line, then guess what? Your spouse decides, I don't want to really be obedient to God no more. I don't really want to obey God. I don't really want to do what God called me to do, or whatever. Now guess what? Now guess what? God forbid y'all started the ministry, or God forbid you started the ministry and y'all are ministering now.
Or you got a call you've been sitting on because you wanted to be married and be cute. Right. Now you want to answer your call. They're like, well, we ain't been doing that all this time. Why we starting now?
Right. You understand what I'm saying? So now Peter's like, listen, you know,
you're in it now.
You're in it. You got to you done made a covenant. You done made a covenant. And see, he said what? He said he talks about winning your spouse through your conduct. Guess what? Then that means that's work, baby. That's time. Yeah. That's work. That's energy. That means you can't be chief mother apostle.
Oh, Jesus. We're going there. Yeah, take the sidebar. Go ahead. Ready to go.
Because a lot of y'all women got unsaved husbands. You are unqualified for ministry.
Woo!
As far as covering people and pastoring churches and being somebody's spiritual mama.
Woo!
Yeah, because I find that a lot of these overly dominant women have these emasculated weak men, spiritually weak men. And
eunuchs.
Right. Your husband is your eunuch. Yeah, then you up there preaching, everybody calling you mama, you got armor bearers and stuff, and he just Brother Elroy, sitting in the back, or Deacon Elroy,
or he at home. He ain't nothing.
He at home.
Where's your husband? You got 5 churches and your husband don't go to not one of them? Or anybody else's?
Your husband ain't over one of them? My God.
He don't go to none of them.
First of all, your husband don't even go to your church. You are disqualified. It goes to show that he don't even respect what's on your life. I don't care what y'all talk about in private. Well, he just not there. No. He just not there. No. Because see,
why you got 5 churches if he just not there?
I'm a husband. You understand? I'm a husband. So whatever my wife do, I'm going to support it. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a husband. Now, I'm not a henpeck husband, but I am a husband. You understand? So whatever my wife do, I'm going to say, hey, go for it. I'm going to be her biggest cheerleader. I'm going to support it. I'm going to fund it. All of that. Why? Because I'm her husband. So your husband don't even support your ministry. Even if he don't feel the call, which is a little weird to me, but, again, y'all married for happiness. My happiness is more important. Not the will of God, your happiness. But anyway.
I mean, you got unsaved men that'll even support it. That's the thing about it. Well, that ain't me, but I'll pay for it.
Yeah.
You got unsaved men that'll support it now.
And I'm not talking about you traveling and ministering and all that. I'm talking about you overseeing people. You watching over souls, baby. Okay? All that kind of stuff.
You so anointed you can't win the person you sleep next to and sleep with?
Huh? Yeah. So that means your conduct, something about your conduct ain't straight. I don't care how nice you are. It's something that you ain't doing right.
Anointed, that thing gonna transfer.
Yeah, that thing should transfer in the bedroom. Bless the Lord.
Are you really that anointed?
That deliverance should transfer in the bedroom. Okay. Because see, again, your spouse is a mirror. They'll show you what you would. They'll show you where you're not. Okay. So then it says what? Going down, it says, uh, for after this manner, verse 5, for after this manner in old time, the holy women also who trusted in God adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands. Remember, their own husbands. Their own husband. So you shouldn't be in subjection to someone else's husband more than your own husband. Yeah. Even Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well and are not afraid with them. Amen. First of all, a lot of y'all don't even reverence your husbands. Why do they want to come to church? Because you don't respect them. And I'm gonna get on the opposite side in a minute.
Because you cook for the pastor's anniversary dinner, and then you leaving sofas at home.
Yeah. So
you made fresh baked rolls, mac and cheese, and collard greens for the pastor's anniversary service, and you got sofas at home.
And I understand, and I'm not talking about if you're in a situation where you have to choose between your spouse and the will of God.
No, that's a whole nother episode. Go back and listen to that. What if my husband don't want me to preach?
Right.
That's a different episode.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. Okay. We're talking about the subject at hand. So then it says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as the weaker vessel. It didn't say she was weak. It says she was weaker. Weaker compared to you. First of all, if you're spiritually stronger than your husband, then that's already out of alignment. Okay, because the Bible says that the wife is supposed to be weaker to the husband, not weak.
And a lot of people, okay, well, what if we wasn't saved when we got married? Well, we weren't there yet. That's a different episode. But the stuff we're talking about, y'all started with this dysfunction. Yeah, you started knowing you was spiritually stronger than he was, and you, well, maybe I can fix him. Maybe he'll come along later, because you would not wait another year or so. You wouldn't wait 6 months for him to be built up to be spiritually stronger than you.
You shouldn't.
You was hot.
First of all, how can I cover my wife if she's if she's over me spiritually? How? How is that? How is that? Now, don't get me wrong. She can. I always say she's smarter than me.
Okay.
Yeah. She's smarter than me. I don't have no problem with that. I need them brains. Okay? She's smarter than me. But there's a reason why I'm chief. Okay? There's a reason why I'm chief and I'm the king of my castle. Okay? You understand that? So a lot of these men need to be built to be the spiritual heads of their home.
Okay? And if he's not there yet, you need to wait.
Yeah, you need to wait. And see, use your influence. Use your influence to help him be pointed in the right direction. It's not about how much you know and don't. It's about who you are. Yeah. My wife has a college degree. She knows way more than I do about stuff. All right? But I got the Holy Ghost just like she got the Holy Ghost. Okay? Okay? God will give me insight into stuff. Okay. But see, y'all don't let these men get y'all women don't let these men get the kind of development and the kind of pouring into and the kind of fathering they need, okay, because you just so hot in the pants. Never marry a man without a pastor or a spiritual father that's over him, okay, or without a community of men that can hold him accountable. Okay, never marry a man that don't got another man pouring into him on a regular basis.
And y'all pastors, stop marrying people together when you see this lopsidedness.
Yeah.
Stop officiating the wedding when you see this lopsidedness.
For real.
Speak up in the counseling and encourage for him to be developed first. And if they don't want to do that, don't sign your name to it.
Right.
Because you just as guilty. Because you saw it and didn't say nothing.
Right. For real. So it says what? Giving honor to the wife as the weaker vessel, as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. Woo! So, though your wife is supposed to be spiritually weaker, you still give her the same honor as a co-heir, huh, of the gift of life.
Otherwise, your prayers won't be. And see, that's what a balance is.
Yeah.
We're going, well, what about me? What if he missed it? There's the balance. His prayers won't be answered. You want God to fix your spouse. You want God to do this and do that. Why you think if your prayers ain't being answered, men, you need to look at how you're treating your wife. God might be holding them prayers up because you ain't doing right. But you want God to fix them. Maybe it's you that need to be fixed.
Yeah. For real.
Prayers going up there, and then they getting them prayers in the inbox of heaven. Denied, 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 denied.
For real.
You got a whole stack of denied prayers in the inbox because you're not acting right.
Come on here.
Because you Tommy the Terrible. Hollering all the time, mad because you left your drawers on the floor. What? No.
Yeah. So yeah, listen. Will God fix my spouse? Maybe.
That's the real answer. Maybe.
He
possible.
He might not, but I guarantee you one thing: he gonna fix you first.
He gonna fix you before he fix them.
Because see, something may not, what you want fixed may not necessarily, may not even be wrong.
Ooh, that part. So what if that's just something to get on your nerves?
Come on.
It's just something that gets under your skin. I can't stand when they do that. Gosh, just water on the floor.
Yeah.
But does that really need to be biblically fixed, or is it something that just gets on your nerves?
Uh-oh.
See, that's the problem. We've got to start separating our personal pet peeves from God's. You know, just like these preachers that be saying, "Oh, God ain't pleased with you." You know how God ain't mad with you because they mad with you.
Right.
God don't need to fix your spouse all the time because you want them fixed.
Right.
Sometimes it's just stuff they get on your nerves, and you just got to accept the person that they are for this season.
And sometimes it's not even the fact that things need to be fixed. Y'all just need to be on one accord.
That's good.
Embrace each other's differences. Because see, the very difference that you are criticizing could be the very difference you need in your discernment before making major decisions.
That's good.
Okay. Huh? So again, I'm just saying, you know, you all just have to just reel it on in. Both parties need to have a coming to Jesus moment, right? You have a coming to Jesus moment and realize, hey, we both not perfect in this.
That's it.
We're both being perfected, and we both have done things wrong. We both have not done things right, but we need to bring it on in. You know, stop pointing the finger at each other and start pointing the finger at us.
Yeah, stop picking with people with stuff that ain't even biblically wrong. Just because it get on your nerves don't mean you got to pick at it.
You know, and listen, sometimes you may need an hour or two apart from each other. That's okay. You know, there's a thing called a man cave. You know, where the man just goes and he just watches little TV or drink his little cold one or whatever the case may be and watches sports. You know, it's okay. I'm not saying necessarily to have a man cave.
I'm coming in the man cave.
She gonna come in my man
What
cave.
you doing?
Right.
What we watching? What we watching today?
All right, now don't be touching me like that.
I'm coming in the man cave. What we watching tonight?
Don't be touching me like that with them soft hands, woman.
It's just lotion.
Yeah, it's lotion and motion.
What we watching?
Okay. All right now.
What time the game starting? No, I'm playing.
See, she'll come in and ask me, "You need anything?" You know, but she has her moments too where she, you know, she's off to herself, or she's reading her books, or listening to her audio books, or watching her documentaries, or, you know,
out taking my break, my self-care.
Yeah, everybody, you know, you can't be offended when a spouse wants some time to themselves to do what they love. You know, afford them their time. Yeah. Because, see, God deals with people during them times.
Yeah.
Okay, regardless of what it is, God will deal with people.
Sometimes you might want God to fix them because you bored. and you nitpicking, walking around nitpicking.
Find
something else to do.
Go be with other people that you love.
Go for a walk. Go to the gym. Go play basketball. Go do something.
Go paint.
Go be in somebody else's face.
You know, they got the thing where you sip wine and paint. Go paint.
Find something else to do.
Yeah, go talk to somebody else for a little bit. Something. Okay?
They get on your nerves that bad. You might be too much up under them. Just breathe. Yeah. And see, this is the other part they don't take. Because see, we watch all this stupid stuff on social media and all these little movies that tell you how marriage should be. I was just having a part of this conversation with somebody on social media not too long ago. Everybody's different. Everybody in real life, ain't nobody sleeping all hugged up like this every night. No. All right? Especially if you live somewhere where it's hot, you might need your own space. You don't need to be all up under somebody all the time. That might be why they're getting on your nerves, because you need some space for you. And even when you're married, you still are a human being. You still have an identity. Your whole existence shouldn't be in another person. That's toxic and unhealthy.
Yeah, for real.
It shouldn't.
You need other outlets.
Find something else to do. Find other people. You should have other healthy friendships and relationships that you can nurture outside of your spouse.
For real. That's just facts. So again, will God fix my spouse? Maybe. But I guarantee you one thing, He's going to fix you.
He's going to fix you before He fixed them. And even if He don't fix them, He's still going to fix you.
Some of you have made decisions, I'm hearing this prophetically. Some of you have made decisions prematurely, okay, concerning your spouse, whether you married them or whatever. And these are consequences that you're facing that you're gonna have to work through. Mm-hmm. Okay, some of you married the wrong one, or some of you married prematurely without proper counsel, or some of you came into the marriage with stuff that you should have already had together. Some of you came into the marriage with problems that you should have already had worked out. Some of y'all came into the marriage with wounds that you should have went to a counselor for. Come on. This is why we encourage people before they get married. You got to go through some counseling. You need to go through some inner healing. You need to go through some deliverance. Okay, all that, because y'all bring all that garbage into a marriage, and then it manifests years later. Stop that. Stop this. Stop. Being horny is not a reason to be married. Okay, no. Take an ice bath. Take an ice bath. That'll stop it real quick. Okay. Take an ice bath.
And the reality is you're already in it, right? Now, you just said you're going to be committed to this person for better or worse. You can't run because the worst show up in a way that you don't like. I think a lot of times we define what worse mean to us. There's a certain worst that we want to accept. Now, obviously, there's a certain worst that nobody should accept. Obviously, we're not saying that. But there's a certain worst that we're willing to accept, right? And when that worst goes beyond a little bit of worst we want to accept, we tired, we ready to throw in the towel, we want God to fix them. Sometimes you need to just learn to endure for a little bit. All right? You was not always the person you were. There was a time in your life you was a whole fool and people didn't give up on you. Maybe it's a space for them to grow and change. Maybe God is really dealing with them. And your best thing is, as the spouse, is to get out the way for a while and take some time to really pray for them. What about that? You know, I love this question when people be going on and they did this, they did it. I just don't know what to do. And I lean in like this. Have you considered going on a fast for yourself? What? No, I mean, they should be doing that for themselves. How you going to say that you live your life according to the word and you won't even turn over? You love this person enough to spend the rest of your life with them, but you won't even skip a meal for them. You can't skip one meal. You just can't skip dinner just to pray for an hour for your spouse. Then that's why you deserve part of the hell that you're going through, because you're selfish. You can't skip one dinner and just pray. And just instead of praying for yourself, instead of wanting God to fix them, how about praying for them? How about speaking life into them? How about speaking the word over the situation and allowing the word to work and perform its work? But my God, you can't be inconvenienced for 45 minutes. You should have never got married then, because that means you're too selfish. That means you went into it with the mindset of the glitz and glam. No, it shouldn't be hard and miserable every single day. But just because somebody have an off day or off few days does not mean that God needs to fix them. Maybe that's what he's trying to fix in you, is your compassion. Things to consider. Things to definitely consider. Any closing remarks you got on this episode?
Will God fix my spouse? Maybe.
Maybe.
But I guarantee you one thing. He gonna fix you first. Those are my remarks.
If he don't fix nobody else, he gonna make sure you fixed. Whether he fix you now or he fix you later after you decide to throw them away because you got tired of being inconvenienced. So we're going to close this episode. We want to thank you for joining us on the F3 podcast. Again, be sure to check out the links in the description box in the show notes. And be sure to follow us on IG at King and Queen Blair to find out more about our content and what we have coming up. Until next time on the F3 podcast. Goodbye.